course. What did you
Thank
think?
you.
What did you think of Jimmy Pitaro and his comments about ESPN saying that they're flexible with its rights to the college football playoffs?
I think it was pretty smart on his part. They really need to. They're the key for the CFP to expand earlier than 26, and by him showing a willingness to, go ahead and have discussions now about, maybe potentially letting some other partners in going forward, or at least through the end of the existing deal, I think was a good olive branch on their part. Pretty clear though that he still is going to want going forward, the semis and the champ game, and I'm not sure that's going to be possible.
Bob, what do you think the ultimate, will it be sharing with Fox, and how long do you think that takes to get worked out if they don't want to share the semis and champ game or rotate that like the Super Bowl?
Well, what I could see happening is, maybe Fox coming in 24, 25. I think next year is going to be tough, but 24, 25, and maybe doing some of the first round games, the 4 games that I guess would be the highest rated or the lowest rated, conference champions, the quarterfinals. And then, maybe some split of the New Year's Day bowl games, and then ESPN retaining the semis and the finals through the end of their existing term. I think, and during those 2-3 years, there'd be a negotiation going forward. And I would imagine that Fox is going to push for some sort of a split. And I would guess, some other networks come in as well. But I think at the end of the day, the 11 games could be split pretty evenly between Fox and ESPN, with some sort of rotation on the semis and the final, similar to what TNT/TBS and CBS have when it comes down to the NCAA basketball finals, which has worked pretty well for both parties.
Bob, did you think that the expansion was inevitable, or did you think there was a real chance they could have hunkered down and waited out this contract?
I think the presidents got tired of the commissioners not being able to come up with something. Mm-hmm. I think the presidents all realized that, there was been some infighting. There's a little bit of distrust at the commissioner level amongst each other right now. And I think it was smart of the commissioner or the presidents to come in and say, this is what we're going to do. This is when we want to do it by. Now you guys go figure it out. And so the good part is that's been settled. And I think it was smart. Everybody wanted expansion. It just kind of got bogged down at the commissioner level. Now it gets kicked over to, Bill Hancock and the folks at the CFP. And, those guys are masters at the whole logistical aspect of these things, which is a huge part of it, especially if you want to start early, looking at, existing championship games, how the six New Year's Day bowls rotate, how they're going to be incorporated into things. So now it really falls on to somewhat with the commissioners, but primarily to Bill and his group to pull the whole thing off.
How much more now that there will be what looks like 8 teams additional to the 4 that are a part of the playoff now? How much more money per year are we talking about?
Well, if you look at it this way, right now they're paying probably in this existing deal for the semis and the 4 New Year's Day bowl games and the champ game around $700 million. That's the average. It's a 12-year deal. So $700 million in average. They're year 9. Say it's at $800 million. You add 4 more games in say 2 years, that gets it up to, $950, $960 million a year. And then if it actually goes to the open market, a double is only a double gets you to $2 billion. And I think that's very, very doable. You got to remember, it's a 12-year deal. So it's kind of stale, it's kind of old. And just look at what the Big Ten just did. Mm-hmm. I mean, they tripled. And so to see something like that, I've seen numbers from $1.6 billion to 2.2. I'm kind of staked right in the middle, 2.0 as an average. It might start a little less than that, but over the course of especially if it's like a 10-year deal, I think you can get to $2 billion average easy.
How much of that is split up among the schools that are who are the Power Fives compared to the Group of Fives? How is that? Do you know how that's kind of distributed?
I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like I want to say 65% were the Power Five. The Group of Five split like 25%. Notre Dame gets a chunk, and then there's parts held out for the participating schools who are in the playoff. So I'm sure, that's something that's going to have to be tweaked. That was the old model. So I think that something's there'll be some tweaking, but that gives you a rough idea of kind of how it works.
Bob, given the news that the Pac-12 and the